This film was introduced to me as very Phantasm-esque, which I don't see. I bought it on VHS and had shipped off from eBay, and it wasn't bad. Warlock is one of those movies, kind of like Ghostbusters or Gremlins, where it's a perfect introduction film to younger horror fans. Although it is rated R, it's fairly tame for an R rating. The film itself suffers a lot from censorship, leaving a lot on the cutting room floor. The trailer also has some of this footage that never made it to the final product, but I hope eventually a release of the film will include this additional footage or as a special feature. That would be nice to see, since a lot of it we don't really have full scenes of today on the internet. Versions of the film have reportedly existed with some scenes extended, but many scenes we know of are pretty much gone. The Warlock himself uses a ceremony to track our lead characters with a rooster. In promotional material, it is stated to be there's a still, but I've never found any evidence of this. He also freezes a fake psychic and stomps her body out to retrieve Satan's eyes. Part of this scene remains in the trailer, but in the final film, he just takes her eyes out of another, also censored scene. Many of these scenes remain in the novelization of the film, which is released on track in 1989. The film follows a warlock from 16th century. The devil sends him to the present day in the 80s to retrieve pages of an ancient book, the equivalent of Satan's Bible. When the pages are gathered, it will read unspoken name of God. When spoken, will undo all of God's creation. Yeah, this definitely isn't a movie for the religious freaks out there. Through the storm the devil sent Warlock through, a warrior, Redfern, gets sucked into present day, getting entangled with Laurie Singer, playing Cassandra with a K.
Cassandra with a K. We'll have a card.
Laurie gets pulled into this battle because they land in her neighborhood, and the Warlock put a spell on her that makes her age 20 years daily. Aging her 20 years at a click doesn't look great, but not by the fault of the Fed crew. More because Singer limited how many prosthetics they would let them use on her. The film had a lot of other problems behind the scenes. Being slated for release in '88, New World Pictures would shelve the film for years due to financial issues. Trimark Pictures would eventually roll with it, releasing the film in '91. Although with a lot of issues behind the scenes, the shooting was difficult, with many censorship issues, along with issues from Laurie Singer being very difficult to shoot with. The film would still gross over $9 million and grant a pair of sequels along with an SNES game. The first film itself is still a good watch and has a lot of solid effects throughout. The sky lighting up was great, and the tame gore is still well done. Even simple effects work well, like Cassandra putting a nail in the Warlock's footprints, causing him immense pain, which is a scene that'll kind of caused the audience to wince, and really with no budget and no gore needed. Eventually they track down the last third of the pages. In Boston, a priest sends Cassandra and Redfern to a gravesite where a warrior was buried with the pages in holy grounds, but it's discovered a graveyard was relocated to build condos. It no longer remains a hollow ground, and the Warlock is not far behind. They find the tomb, breaking it open, it is revealed it's Redfern's grave, and he's the one holding the pages, so they have to peel it from the ground from his own corpse right as well. Pretty good reveal. They try and stop him, but it's too late. He overpowers the duo and reunites the pages, but before he can speak the unspoken name and undo all of creation, she uses her insulin needle to take salt from a port next to them and inject it into the Warlock. The salt burns him from the inside out in a very Hellraiser-esque kill that you would think would leave it closed, but 2 more sequels say otherwise. Also, weirdly enough, a pair of kids had murdered a 7-year-old in '95 and blamed it on this film and its influence. A weird fact that I feel shouldn't affect the viewing or history of this film, but it did really turn Warlock into a poster child for people pushing for the V-chip censorship on television. More fun fact about this movie, Sam Elliott, William Dafoe, Patrick Stewart, and a bunch of other actors were drafted as the Warlock before Julian Sands would nail this role. Although there's a great line of cast here, Sands did a perfect job, I think. Overall, pushing through its setbacks, it's a great film for both horror fans and people getting into horror. And it's currently on Tubi. It's worth the watch, and the sequels are definitely on my watch list.
Lest your children be born slugs of cold flesh.